The opponent safe switches into Shadow Metagross and they are immediately hard punished by Shadow Excadrill. Just look at this absurd Mud Slap damage. Gordy looking for the one shield, full Mud Slap farm down, and how is the opponent going to tank this energy? Excadrill leaves, almost doubled up on charge moves, back out comes Giratina, and they are not going to appreciate this drill run damage. Welcome back to the channel. Yesterday we featured a very fun team from Ben featuring 3 maxed out legendary Pokemon. This week has really annoyed me due to just how inaccessible these leagues are. So today we are running a full non-legendary team in the Open Master League. As far as Master League goes, I think this season is probably the best position for non-legendary Pokemon. Of course, I'm sure you all know Rhyperior is a very dominant Pokemon that's even had a com day, so we've all had a chance to obtain them XL candies. Other options like Primarina and Gyarados are also very viable. However, today Gordy is going to be showcasing 3 different options that all certainly have play, 2 of which have received huge buffs this season. Leading the line today, we're going to have a staple from the Master League Premier Cup, Florges. Florges was always a very dominant fairy, just because of how bulky and how spammy it was. Fairy Wind this season now does even more damage, so today we're going to find out, does it have play in the open format? Gordy's opting for a double ground backline. With the Mud Slap variant of Shadow Excadrill, Mud Slap now a very good move and hits insanely hard. In the back, we're going to have one of my favourite Pokemon, Shadow Mamoswine, a very high risk, high reward Pokemon with plenty of vulnerabilities, but my god, if you can give it an energy lead or shield advantage, it can nuke more or less everything. Without any further ado, let's get into the battle. And in game 1, we see the absolute dream lead. The opponent opts to stay in, suggesting that either core broken or at least ABA weak to Florges. Gordy not messing around, YOLO's the Moonblast forces us an early shield advantage. You can see the huge amount of frame drops already. Niantic fixed this game. Despite the huge amount of frame drops, Gordy able to catch the charge move onto Mamoswine. It looks like the opponent happy to stay in, which is a bit of a questionable play, as they're going to be unable to farm down before the Avalanche is reached. Avalanche will be securing the knockout from here, or at least so I thought, but it looks like this opponent doing the very best impersonation of a Team Rocket leader, just staying in and YOLOing charge moves and shielding the opponent's first move. Gordy sends back out Florges. At this range, Disarm and Voice will be removing them from the field of play. We've still got a very healthy Florges and a Shadow Excadrill upper Protect Shield. The opponent sends out Duskmane, then pivot out into Rhyperior, but this Rhyperior going to make a very brief cameo appearance. We've got the drill run locked and loaded. Rhyperior straight in and straight out. Back out comes Duskmane, and I think the opponent's made a mistake throwing here, as we will survive 2 further Shadow Claws. Reaching the next drill run, the opponent recognises the game's over and concede the match, and we're off to a very quick 1-0 start. In the next battle, we see Florges into Landorus, a pretty neutral matchup. The opponent will be spamming out Sancia Storms, although not as spammy as they used to be. In previous seasons, I've only required 5 mud shots to each Sancia Storm. The counts this season are 6, 6, then 5. We can already see the previous mentioned respectable bulk on Florges, tanking that Sancia Storm like it's no problem whatsoever. Gordy makes a slight misplay, playing to the CMP tie, he does not win. We was able to survive that next Sancia Storm and would have been able to get off the next Moonblast. However, in a surprise turn of events, the opponent opts to 2-shield their lead, which is a very questionable play, as that Disarming Voice would have probably done around 30%. Maybe even less double debuffed. I guess we're never going to know. The opponent fires off the Stone Edge, then pivot out into Golden Go. This thing that looks like a cheese string going to be straight in and straight out. Sacrifice to the Pokegods. Out comes Dragonite. Dragonite also going to be straight in and straight out. Mamoswine, have a chill pill, bro. Mamoswine running absolutely rampant and very quickly sweeps the entire team. GG's and thanks for playing. That battle was a prime example why Shadow Mamoswine is one of my favourite Pokemon. In the next battle, we see Florges into Rhyperior, a pretty neutral matchup. Gordy gonna fire off the Moonblast immediately, which is good fast move timing. 7 Fairy Winds in the charge move, only giving the opponent 1 free turn. It looks like the opponent's lagging somewhat. They attempted to throw a good fast move timing, 1 Mud Slap and the charge move, and somehow he was able to get 3 Fairy Winds in, which certainly isn't as the game's intended. We correctly shield up the Rock Wrecker, fire off the Disarming Voice, attempt to catch a Rock Wrecker onto Excadrill. Holy cow, Excadrill not too often used as the damage sponge, but that is a very nice catch, and we're able to get the Mud Slap farm down. The opponent then sends out Yveltal, looking for a farm down of their own, but not before the Rockslide's reach. Rockslide has been nerfed this season, but still manages to get this streaky bacon bird below half health. Both of Gordy's remaining Pokemon have super effective fast move pressure into Yveltal. We send back out Florges, again end up losing the charge attack priority. Florges' bulk does mean it's got a pretty pathetic attack stat. Gordy saving his final Protect Shield for Mamoswine, and out comes Xerneas. Oh boy, one close combat is going to knock us out. I don't think this game's winnable. We're going to see Gordy invest a Protect Shield. Our only win con is if they for some strange reason go for the Moonblast. They fire off the close combat, they are doubled up. Xerneas does win the charge attack priority, and Mamoswine is going to get one shot and vanquished back to his Pokeball. GG's to that opponent. In the next battle, we see a commanding lead. The opponent save switches into Metagross, and they are immediately hard punished by Shadow Excadrill. Gordy going to be looking for that one shield. Full Mud Slap farm down, and then Giratina is going to have a very tough time of trying to tank this energy back out. Comes Giratina, Gordy goes for the optimal timing, one Mud Slap and the charge move. Using a 3-turn move into a 2-turn move, it's really easy, just throwing an odd number. The first drill run landed, the second one commands a Protect Shield, and the opponent's still going to be forced to throw. It looks like Gordy attempted to catch the Ominous Wind back onto Florges, but unfortunately was caught in the Mud Slap animation. But Excadrill has put in so much work, deleting almost 2 Pokemon. We send out Mamoswine, looking to get an energy lead, and the opponent sends out Gyarados. Gyarados gonna need to respect the incoming avalanche. Gordy can just let this go, as Florges is gonna have more than enough in the tank to clean up. Gordy tanks the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail isn't quite lethal. We stay in, get off as much Powder Snow damage as we physically can. I have no idea why the opponent's still playing this out. Trainer, this is game over. You can see that Aqua Tail did absolutely nothing. The opponent actually make a very nice catch, catching the Moonblast back onto Giratina, but I don't think even that catch is going to save him. Back out comes Gyarados. Even an Aqua Tail still wouldn't knock us out, but this Moonblast certainly will get the job done. Nice attempt from the opponent, but unfortunately, that just was not a winnable game. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we see Florges into Palkia. A very, very nice lead for us. The opponent save switches into Kartana. Wow. I think we should have went Excadrill here, as Mamoswine is getting deleted in the blink of an eye. Holy spice from this opponent. We now do send out Excadrill, but we are going to have to shield up a potential Leaf Blade, but even a Night Slash and the Razor Leaf would probably knock us out. That Kartana has absolutely run rampant through our team. Back out comes Palkia. Palkia going to be greeted with the Drill Run. Switch Timer pops up. We pivot back out into Florges. It's Ho-Oh in the back, and unfortunately this game is unwinnable for us. While I do think Florges is a very good pick, it hardwalls a lot of top meta threats. One of its drawbacks is the fact that it's using a full fairy moveset, meaning stuff like Ho-Oh and potential steel types are going to fully wall you. Unfortunately, this game ends in defeat, and we're going to move on to the next battle. GG to that opponent. In the next battle, hard one lead. The opponent opts to stay in. And then, what's going on? Are they lagging? I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. Gordy YOLOs the Moonblast. Perhaps his opponent has thrown their phone against the wall, uninstalled the game, and never to ever play again. The opponent has top left, and I'm going to say, go enjoy Fortnite, buddy. GBL isn't for everyone. I'm just kidding. Heading into the next battle, we see Florges into Landorus. We've seen this one play out before. I'd like to see Gordy make a slight adjustment, tanking both Sancia Storms and committing to 2 Moonblast. We tank the first Sancia Storm, do YOLO the Moonblast, which is now 1 stage debuffed. Landorus users love to shield. Gordy again plays this CMP tie. He does not win. I'm going to give this opponent credit and anticipate them being slightly smarter than the last opponent, recognising this move is just going to tickle. I guess my estimate of like 30% wasn't too far off. We see the save switch into Mamoswine, and we are hard punished by Kyogre. Although this high horsepower does do a lot if it goes unshielded. We actually managed to force the opponent's final Protect Shield, and this is going to be somewhat of a problem as our Florges is so low. Florges is actually that low that it's probably nothing more than a sacrificial swap. We send out Excadrill. Excadrill going to be getting torn apart by these waterfalls. Gordy shields up the surf. We are going to look to fire off the Drill Run immediately, just looking to move this bulky blue whale from the field of play. Landorus does have residual energy. It looks like we are thinking about making the catch. Back out comes Landorus. We do make the catch. Surely we don't pull this game off. Sancia Storm does secure the knockout. Excadrill looks for the resisted Mudslap farm down, but we're unable to get it. And I guess we're never going to know what's in the back. In the next battle, we see Rhyperior in the lead. If you're Florges in this matchup, you can go straight for the Moonblast, as that would be good timing. Gordy actually farms up past the Moonblast, baits with the disarming voice, forcing an early shield advantage. As the opponent's shielded, potentially going to go for a break-in swipe. Gordy correctly calls the Rock Wrecker, so it's a good job he's playing and not me, as that would have done a lot of damage this time. Gordy fires off the harder hitting Moonblast, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. We then try our luck catching the Rock Wrecker onto Excadrill unsuccessfully. I have actually seen a few Rhyperior running Surf. Thankfully, this is the standard moveset of Break-In Swipe and Rock Wrecker. We tank the Break-In Swipe. We even tank the Rock Wrecker. We completely sack Excadrill, but do manage to get Rhyperior into a perfect farm down range for Mamoswine. Or at least so I thought. The opponent does reach the departing Break-In Swipe, which doesn't do much, but does of course get the attack drop. The opponent sends out Dragonite. No attack drop. We'll be saving Dragonite though. Double super effective Avalanche. Still picks up the one hit KO. The opponent sends out Dialga. We reset our debuff, pivoting out into Florges. Moonblast hits for neutral and a lot of neutral damage at that. The opponent never going to be able to Dragon Breath farm us down. We could have in fairness shielded this move up to get off the next Moonblast. We're actually putting all our hopes and dreams on Mamoswine, which is a very risky play as we get Dragon Breath farm down. I think that definitely would have been a win. We should have just shielded up, went for the Moonblast, but I guess hindsight is 50-50. What the hell is this? Regigigas. I have never seen this thing in the Master League. I have no idea what that quick move is. Some kind of hidden power. I guess I should be more clear. I have no idea what typing that hidden power is. We shield up the Thunder. The opponent then makes the pivot, pivoting out into Ho-Oh, and then shield up a disarming voice. These are some very strange battles. How the hell do we even beat Ho-Oh? Ho-Oh claps the entirety of this team. We're able to land the harder in Moonblast, but that really doesn't do a lot of damage. The opponent is finally going to dump some energy, but both our back two Pokemon are weak to fire. Gordy sends out Mamoswine. Mamoswine getting torn apart by these Incinerates. Gordy going to invest the final Protect Shield, blocking up the incoming Sacred Fire. It's paramount that he throws at good timing. We go for 2 Powder Snows and the Avalanche for optimal fast move timing. Mamoswine going to be able to survive one further Incinerate, reach the next Avalanche, finally removing this Firebird of Death from the field of play. Gordy spamming the switch, out comes Excadrill. I still don't know what that hidden power is, but regardless, we're able to fully farm down. Out comes Kyurem. I can't quite believe it, but we are going to win this battle. 2 charge moves are going to be enough to knock them out. Despite Rock Slide being slightly nerfed, it is still slightly more energy efficient. So if you're ever in this scenario where you're only going to reach one move, throw the Rock Slide. Gordy able to emerge victorious. GG's. In the next battle, Florges into Dragonite. The opponent save switches into a Charm variant of Primarina. Gordy looking to stay in. I imagine we chip and dip and then go to Excadrill. It looks like Gordy actually happy to stay in here, and I guess we can stay in as Mamoswine, a running Powder Snow, going to be very dominant against Dragonite. Gordy manages to force himself a shield advantage, and it looks like he's happy to play out the one shield. Again, you can see just how bulky Florges is. These charms really aren't doing much whatsoever. We shield up the Hydro Cannon, fire off one further disarming voice, picking up the opponent's final Protect Shield. They look for that full charm down, farm down. We needed DRE to get that move off. Unfortunately, we don't quite get it. We have now set up Excadrill and Mamoswine with a shield advantage. Gordy completely sacks Excadrill, putting all his hopes and dreams on Mamoswine. Mamoswine comes in, gets a resisted Powder Snow farm down. The opponent sends out Dragonite. I was anticipating a catch. The catch did not come. High Dragonite, bye Dragonite. What is that third trainer? Oh boy, the opponent's third is Rhyperior. Gordy reaches the high horsepower, and you all know this is going to be massive overkill. Get that Rhyperior off my screen. Mamoswine once again running rampant. Let's get it. In the next battle, we see Togekiss in the lead. We see the save switch into Mamoswine, baiting out Mewtwo. Mewtwo can tank an Avalanche, not particularly well. Fun fact, Avalanche and Side Strike are both clones of each other. Both cost 45 energy for 90 damage. We shield up the Side Strike, do 5 Powder Snows, knockout. Gordy looks for the Powder Snow farm down, which he gets absolutely perfectly. The opponent sends back out Togekiss. Trainer, I don't think you want to send out Togekiss into a loaded Mamoswine. The first avalanche forces the opponent's first Protect Shield. The second avalanche likely forces the final, which it does. The opponent does commit to that full tap, Charm Down, Farm Down, but they're already below half health. The opponent clearly not a fan of Mamoswine. Hopefully if they don't like Mamoswine, they don't like Excadrill either. The opponent fires off the Ancient Power that does very minimal damage. Gordy over farms before firing off Disarming Voice, looking to remove Togekiss from the field of play. The opponent's third is revealed to be Dragonite. Honestly, I have no idea why the opponent hasn't top left. This Moonblast is near going to one-shot. Gordy pivots out into Excadrill, looking for the double resisted Mud Slap farm down. The opponent fires off the Super Power. The Mud Slap will be secure on the knockout, and we take that game. In the next battle, we see Avalugg in the league. I think this thing is also another very good non-legendary option. It's very spammy and has great coverage in the current meta. It's also one of them very annoying debuff Pokemon. If that's your playstyle, it's got access to the ever-annoying Icy Wind. We tank the Icy Wind return fire with the Moonblast, forcing us an early shield advantage. This Pokemon's actually been slightly nerfed this season, as Rock Slide now does less damage, so I guess straight Icy Wind is going to be the way to go in more or less most scenarios, unless Ice is resisted and Rock would be hitting for neutral. We say switch into Mamoswine. The opponent fires off the Rock Slide. Mamoswine going straight for the high horsepower, looking to remove this coffee table from the field of play. To my surprise, the opponent invests that final protection. At this point, Mamoswine is too low to shield. Is it just me, or does Avalugg look like some kind of posh coffee table you'd see in some pretentious person's house? However, we got distracted, so returning to the commentary, back out comes Florges. We fire off the Moonblast. Moonblast isn't quite lethal, then see the Mud Slap snipe with Excadrill. The opponent sends out Zygarde. These Dragon Tails are resisted, but Zygarde, Optimus Prime, the king of stat product, easily tanks 2 drill runs. Well, actually, maybe not that easily with the Mud Slap damage. It's kind of crazy that our neutral Mud Slaps are doing less than the resisted Dragon Tails, which is pretty absurd. The opponent makes a very nice catch, catching the drill run onto Togekiss. Oof, that's savage. Excadrill does resist these charms, but it certainly does not look like it. Gordy fires off the Rock Slide. Perhaps last season this would have been lethal. This season it is not. We pivot out into Florges. Florges gets farmed down. Oh man, this is tough. We shield up the Ancient Power. We're able to get the Mud Slap farm down. Can we survive a Dragon Tail? Heartbreakingly, we cannot. And Optimus Prime is going to emerge victorious. And unfortunately, that is going to wrap things up for today's Shoutcast. Huge shout out to Gordy for bringing us a very unique, very fun battle submission in the Open Master League. I know a lot of trainers are sitting this week out due to Niantic making even the Little Cup a very XL heavy, a league where you essentially need Shuckle or Marill to have any success. However, if you've got some Master League Pokemon that even aren't legendary, some of these Comdaemon or even the Pokemon featured today do have some play, and it's a good chance to get some practice in. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing if you like your battles featured on my channel. A link to a battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.